listening to and watching the Dreux Mia Podcast Show. I'm Drew.
And I'm Mia.
We are so glad to be back. Feels like we've been
Yes.
gone forever, co-host.
I know. I'm a
Man,
real
man,
vacation.
man. Yeah, we need a little vacation. Times have been tough. We're trying to make it through this pandemic. Hello to all of our Facebook watchers. Good evening to everybody. Thank you for joining us. Share. Let everybody know we are live. And we want to apologize. We're having technical issues from the Dreux Mia Podcast Show Facebook live. So everything is just going to be rerouted to my personal Facebook. So you guys can, we have more audience, more viewers on that side. Hello. Well, let's get started, co-host. How's everything been going with you?
Listen, everything has been going gravy. I'm just happy to be alive and
Not
well.
gravy.
Yeah, gravy.
They still say that?
Yes, because gravy is good. I
Yeah,
love
it
me
is
some
a little
gravy
good.
on rice and mashed potatoes.
Okay,
and-
now I'm hungry.
yeah, I've been hungry.
We work hard, y'all. We don't really get a chance to eat like we should,
I
but
know.
we gonna dig out later. Well, we got a lot to cover today, so we're not gonna waste any time. We've started our hometown hero spotlight, and it's always dedicated to showcase well-known people who may not be known. We like to dib and dab if you let us say it like that. But today, of course, our hometown hero spotlight person is someone who's well-known, has made a huge impact in his community in Los Angeles. And I'm talking about none other than Nipsey Hussle.
Yes.
I was doing some, reading and research and just kind of looking over his career and looking at the different initiatives, different projects that he was working on, all of those things. And I actually had an opportunity to go to Vector 90 in Los Angeles. I was a part of an event there, and it's a beautiful facility. It's huge. I mean, it's huge. It's beautiful. And you can just kind of feel like his spirit there.
Okay.
The workers there, like they all carry his spirit. Like they are so community driven. They're so just focused on building that community.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not in the Beverly Hills or whatever, but it's in a
Right.
nice, well-to-do area. It's not hood. There's no cars parked on the lawn. It's in a nice, well-to-do area. So, just for the people who are always associating him with, trying to make progress in the projects and all that. No. That's not what it's about at all.
Right.
The Vector 90, one of his businesses, Vector 90, it's a multi-purpose type facility. They do different events there, and they have shops, all of those things. So it's really a nice facility. So, I mean, you feel the spirit. If you ever get a chance to go to Los Angeles, go and check out Vector 90 and his clothing store, all of those businesses. Support them because they're still keeping his dream alive. They're
Right.
keeping his initiative alive. So I'm spotlighting Nipsey Hussle. If you guys have no idea who that is, then shame on you.
Shame on you.
Go online, Google him, just learn about all of the things that he's done in his career through his music career, how he's transformed and started businesses. He started the youth initiative where he's helping them to become better youth business owners. He's sponsored so many to go to school, college. So shout out to Nipsey. Rest in peace, man. We're keeping your dream alive.
Absolutely.
We're gonna keep fighting. We're gonna keep fighting. What you started, we will finish. And I love how Lauren his ex just continues to fight for him.
She does.
Just continues to fight for him. So shout out to that family. We love you guys. So that's that on that. What we got going on in tea time? It's been a while.
Honey, listen, I have to talk about the Derek Trash Bag Jackson, honey. So the
Lord have
relationship
mercy.
guru Derek Jackson, who is always giving relationship advice.
Is he a self-proclaimed guru?
He is a self-proclaimed
Okay, so
guru.
nobody actually said that. Okay.
Yeah, that's why every time it's said, it's in quotations,
It
like
gotta be
guru.
air quote, air
Yeah,
quotes.
because he's been doing this for years and he's been telling men how they should treat women. I mean, he has been trashing men, like even when John Gray did what
I
he
had no
did.
idea who he was until everybody was posting about it on social media.
Because he has more female followers than he
I
does
saw
male
that. I
followers.
saw
And
that.
so a lot of people don't know who Derrick Jackson is. However, when he came out saying that he cheated on his wife, he tried to make it seem like he had only cheated on her one time, but then the
Oh
concubines,
man.
his concubines started coming out one by one. And so it totaled like 2 to 3 women that he had relationships with and he had a sexual affair with, and his wife came on live with him and she was saying how they've gotten through it, but the timeline for me just didn't add up
Yeah.
because it had only been 1 year since they were saying that they went through that, and being a married woman, the things that you need to go through in order to build that trust back. And so I call BS, and I feel like it was a publicity stunt.
So here's a question, and as a female, maybe you can help us all understand this. Why is it that women wait to, I guess, put someone on blast for whatever reasons, all at the same time? So if he had an affair with them a year or so ago, why are they waiting till now, all of them, to come forward and say something? The affair happened over a year ago.
It could be a plethora of reasons. I mean, some women want clout, and because he got over 1 million likes, well, not likes, but 1 million views on that video, now people want clout. So they will attach themselves to that story and to that video and come out and say, oh yeah, we had sex and we had a relationship. And one of the women were like, we had an emotional affair, like we were in a relationship, but how can you be in a relationship and he's a whole married man?
That's what I'm confused about.
But yeah, I think that it could be a number of reasons. They mad that he actually is fixing it with his wife and he wants to be with his wife. And so now
Is he really fixing it?
That's why I don't think that he really is. I think that it's a publicity stunt because he, in that live, says that, oh, okay, after the end now, he says, and if you guys want to know how we got through, this whole infidelity issue in our marriage, buy my book.
So it's a promotional.
It was a promotion. So
It's PR.
I gave him an eye roll. I was just like, this
Listen,
is
I
crazy.
had no idea who he was. I still don't really care, because I just see that he's just a attention whore.
He
That's
is.
all it is. It's just attention
Definitely.
whore.
Definitely.
And I'm not understanding how people. That's really what makes me mad. And this is just for me. I hate that the fact that we as people will promote and make someone who is so irrelevant, who ain't doing nothing for the world, for the community, whatever, we make them so relevant, so rich. I mean, they got millions of followers and all of those things. But people who are actually trying to do something substantial, they don't get no attention.
That's how it is.
I don't understand that. Like, why are we as a people, why are we set up that way?
That's just how it is. It's crazy
I don't
because
get it.
he was living this life for so long. And even I look back on the John Gray situations. Now, he is a guy that he does reaction videos. That's where a lot of his fame came from, because
Okay.
he would take videos, like any kind of video, like a woman video, a funny video, and then he would view the video for you and let you see his reaction. And then he would talk about it. But for the most part, he would always come in talking about how women should be uplifted, edified, how we should be treated so good, and a man should never cheat on us, and this, that, and the third. And then when John Gray did what he did, every single time John Gray was in the spotlight, this man took it upon himself to initiate a conversation about him. And this was during the time that he knew he was cheating on his wife. So that's what
Yeah, that
aggravated
makes
me.
sense.
Like, why would
That
you
makes
bring the
sense.
attention to yourself when you and John Gray are in the same boat?
Attention whore.
You hit it right on the head.
Attention
whore. Yeah. Attention
I mean,
whore.
that's I don't get it. I'm not married. I don't know anything about all of that. My thing is just how we, I guess, fuel it up so that it becomes so grand, if you will. And I mean, now he's falling fat on his face, but he still has people supporting him.
He does. There are some people I think that will never support him. Never. for me, I never supported him. I would watch the video, but I never liked it. I never shared
Yeah.
anything. But I knew who he was. And
Had
there are
no
some
idea.
people that will never follow him again because they trusted in so much he said. But that also taught a lot of people a lesson. How are you gonna listen? Because one lady came on and said after he gave his, I call it a testimony. After he gave his testimony
Not a
of
testimony.
infidelity, she said, I actually listened at you, and she left her husband based on some advice that Derek Jackson gave.
She has to be a dummy.
She has
You
to
have
be
to be
a
a dummy.
fool.
You have to
He
be a
has
dummy.
no psychology degree.
Nothing.
He has not gone to school for therapy.
Nothing.
He's not a family therapist. Why would you be taking advice from a personified social media guru, in quotation, for relationship?
Air
Like, I
quotes.
mean, I was so baffled, and everybody was
We
telling
want y'all.
her.
We want to hear from you guys. How do you feel about that whole Derek Jackson situation? Like, am I the only one thinks he's just a dummy, or what? Like, y'all tell me what's going on. Hey, everybody, Yeah, I had no idea who he was, and I still don't really care. And the wife, I do feel like she may be a victim of what's the medical term for it when people are attracted to their abuser.
I can't think of the name.
You know what I'm talking
exactly
about.
What you're talking about.
Whatever it's called. Somebody help me. What's the name of it when you can't get your abuser out your system? What's it called? That I think she's a victim of that. Stockholm
Syndrome.
Stockholm
But I
syndrome.
also think that her elevator don't go all the way up either.
She do look a little slow.
I think she's a little slow.
Yeah, she do look a little slow. I've
Yeah.
seen some of her response videos to some of the negative
Yes.
reactions from people, and it didn't really make a whole lot of sense
It
to
did
me. So
not.
I just kept scrolling and moved on to life and
Yeah.
went to doing what I was doing because it was like, okay, you got two idiots here, so it just doesn't make sense right now.
I'm not gonna waste no more
No,
time.
I'm not
on
wasting
my-
time.
on
I'm not
them.
wasting time. And then he made the video of him talking about himself in the third person.
Oh
that,
my God.
That was the
That
seal
was
for
the
me.
gag right there.
That was it.
When he did that, I was crying. I could not believe.
Classic narcissist. Nobody with sense does that. Like nobody. Like I'm not even understanding how you even thought that was gonna make sense.
That was
But
funny.
I mean, it's a classic narcissist. So what do you guys feel? Yeah, dummy. He's a dummy. He's a dummy.
Honey, listen.
Oh, Lord.
It's just it's a crazy world.
So do
that
we
live
pray
in.
for him or do we just let him be what he gonna be?
Listen, I'm not praying for him. I'm gonna reserve my prayers for
That's what I said. I
for
only get a few.
DMX, who
I only
has
get a
had
few.
a heart attack, and I love me some DMX. I'm gonna reserve my prayers for the Lord to raise DMX
Right.
up, honey. But Derek Jackson ain't getting no prayers from me.
That's what I said. We only get a few. So
I'm gonna reserve them.
speaking of DMX, we do want to lift up DMX, his family. Like that's just heartbreaking to know that he's suffering like that, and we really hope that he does pull through. We do believe God can heal, and just make him whole again. So if you believe in prayer and you believe in God and all of that, just please keep his family, keep him in prayer. Pray that he pulls through. We want, no matter what it is, we don't care
Yep.
if it's a drug overdose. We don't care. We don't want to see anyone struggling like
Absolutely.
that. He needs to get help. We get it. We all need help with something.
Absolutely.
So we just want to keep him in prayer. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yes.
So what's the question of the week today, co-host?
Listen, the question of the week. If you pay your hairstylist or barber for services, but you are dissatisfied with their service, should you still pay them? That's the gag right there.
Very good question.
But what's funny is I have experienced this. Okay, so
I think we all have.
but mine is recent
Oh.
and it's actually still ongoing. So Eden got her hair done for Easter. And so I sent her to someone that referred me a while ago. So I found the information, made the appointment. She said, okay, I can take her. Well, the day that she was supposed to go, I wasn't feeling well. So my husband was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and take her. So
Okay.
he took her and waited outside. She was in there, got her hair done. And so when she got home, I looked at it and it was okay, but it was just like,
It's not what you asked
it's
for.
not what I asked for, and it's not what I thought that she was gonna get, especially for $110.
Oh, my
Like
gosh.
for a ponytail, like $110. Like I was just
I
like,
coulda
what to
did
do?
that.
It? That's what I said. I was like, but I wanted her to have what she wanted, and really, I thought it was gonna be together where I would feel good about paying the $110 for the ponytail. So anyway, last night when I got home, Eden was like, Mama, my hair is coming apart. I said, your hair, not for $110. So I text the beautician and I told her, I was like, hey, my daughter's hair is coming apart. She just saw you on Saturday. I was like, this is unacceptable. I was like, and when it started coming apart, that then allowed me to see how the hairstyle was constructed. I said, and you did not put your best foot forward, or either you did not know what you were doing. I said, and where did you get $110 from to charge me when, Drew, I know it took her less than 30 minutes to do this hairstyle, if not even 20 minutes.
I could give you a whole bunch of stories.
Oh, I know you can.
That's just what they charge. There's barbers that charge $70 for a haircut, for a men's haircut, $70 for 25 minutes of work, $70. I mean, I can go on and on, but
Did that include your face and your hair?
no, it's just the hair.
Oh,
They
no.
have the audacity to charge extra for a beard, for beards.
And you paid it?
I know I didn't pay it. Hell no.
Because I know how few from
Hell
you
to
are.
the no. I ain't paying no $70. That's 3 haircuts for me.
People, I mean, audacity must be free in this hour.
It's definitely free. It
It
comes
can't
with
be
the
no
territory, I guess.
coupons. This is just free because I said then. So I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, well, let me be positive. I'm thinking she gonna respond back and be like, okay, well, I could either fix it or and I'm gonna fix it and I'm gonna give you some of your money back. No, she gonna talk about, well, when you're able to bring her, I can fix it. Why would I allow you back in my daughter's head? What you should be saying is, let me give you half of this money back.
Well, by law, you do have to allow them to
True.
fix
That's true.
the problem. Give them a chance to make it right.
Right.
You do have to do that. And I'll go there. I'll allow them to try to fix it. But then if I see that this not working, then we're gonna have another set of problems.
Yeah. I don't even know if I want to go back because when I tell you my spirit down, rich in my soul, I'm livid that she played me in my face and played me and my baby for Easter because my baby wanted, and even Eden was like, I like it, but it is not really what I wanted.
Right.
And that made me mad
And then
because
you
I
got
played
people
with my
just
money.
settling. Like, nah, I'll be okay with it.
I didn't want, and that's like I didn't want her to settle. And like
Yeah.
I told her, I said it's not about the money because I would pay it if it's worth the price.
Right.
It's not worth the price, girl.
Yeah, 110, it needs to be banging.
My niece could have done that.
I could have did that.
Listen, I was so mad,
Yeah,
but
I could give you a story. So the question, everyone's asking the question. So the question is, if you pay your hairstylist or barber for services, but you are dissatisfied with their service, are you still obligated to pay them? Should you still pay them? Would you still pay them? Or would you cuss them out and leave, go to court? Like, what would you do if you paid your beautician, your hairstylist, barber, whatever, for their services, but you were very dissatisfied with their service, meaning they effed it up completely? It wasn't what you asked for. It doesn't look like the picture you showed them, all of that. Would you still pay them? Are you obligated to still pay them? How does that work? I mean, they still have to survive, right?
I don't
That's what
care.
they say.
So what have you done when it happened to you? Did you still pay or what?
Well, I got refunds sometimes. It's been very hard finding a quality barber in Houston. Like, I've never seen it. Like, I was joking with somebody the other day. It's hard to find sopranos and barbers in Houston. So I've gone to a few. I was dissatisfied, got the refund. That was that. There's some where you can't get the refund because they're on this app called Style Seat. So Style Seat doesn't allow you to get a refund. You have to work it out with the stylist, just directly. You don't necessarily can get a refund. You can dispute it with the bank, but whatever the system is, however they have it set up, it takes forever for that to happen. But I allowed them, the last 2 times I allowed them to correct it. The redo was better than the first one because I guess they were really trying to impress me and make it right.
Right.
But I didn't go back. I just moved on to somebody else.
Of course
And then I had a new set of problems because they couldn't do it either.
So
And the style that I'm asking for wasn't that hard.
what style did you want?
I showed a picture. It was just a basic fade, line, edge up. And that's it. Just fade it in, edge it up, and just make it look nice. It wasn't hard. I showed the picture. I had the picture there. Like, can you do this? This is what I need. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I can do it. And usually when they say it too fast, I know that they can't do it.
Right.
Because if you actually can do it, you're going to say, okay, let me see. And you're going to study the picture because it's your first time seeing it.
Yeah.
So you have no idea what it is.
Right.
And you're going to look at it like, okay. So, yeah, they got, okay, I see. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But when you say, oh, yeah, I could do it, and you put it down like, You didn't even look at it. So I already know that that's gonna be a problem.
That's a red flag.
That's a red flag. Like you just, I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
You just held it up for 1 second.
I just think it's a lack of integrity and professionalism all around. I mean, it just doesn't go to hairstylists, which it goes to like printing, graphics, food.
Oh, definitely graphics. Oh my God.
You know, styling. Like, how can you give anything from your business? You should want to make I'm not saying the customer is always right, but you should want to please your customer.
Make them happy.
And I don't
and
understand
we know some people are just hard to please.
Exactly.
We get it.
Exactly.
And that's how you deal with them. But for people who are good people who trying to support your business, like you got to do right by them. You can't just be giving them anything all willy-nilly.
Because nowadays, social media will kill you. Because I know me, I'm only going to say something to you one time. If you don't get it together, oh, honey, I'm going to get you on social media and let my people know don't support you.
Yeah. And so then you get people who's like, well, you shouldn't do that. They're a small business. They're a black-owned business. And you don't want to hurt their reputation. Okay.
Don't matter to me. I don't care if you purple on, black on, pink on, green on.
Yeah, I had the situation with a barber and a graphic designer. I had to blast them on Facebook, on social media, really. I had to blast them on social media. I mean, I don't get it either. So that's the question. That's the question. So Jeff. Hey, Jeff. So Jeff is my barber in Dallas. Now, Jeff is the barber.
Okay.
I wish I had money where I can fly to Dallas to go get my haircut with Jeff. Jeff is one of the best barbers I've ever had. And I've been knowing Jeff since we were teenagers. Jeff said, I don't charge if the client isn't happy with it, if the fault is on my end. And that's good. That's character. That's integrity.
That's integrity.
But some barbers like, well, you know, I still got to feed my family and all that. But that's not my problem.
Ain't
nobody told you to have a family. And then you gonna try to feed them with my money?
He said, ain't nobody told you. Where do you come up with this stuff?
There's a pizza place I used to go to in the Woodlands when I lived out there, and there's a sign on the thing that says, your poor planning should not be my emergency.
Nah, that's the truth.
I travel with that everywhere I go. That's my motto. I'm gonna get a sticker and put it on my car. Your poor planning should not be my emergency.
Especially when I'm not happy. You can't just take the money and your client
$110. No, hell no.
And she didn't even offer, and I was just so
apologize. Try to work it out. Like, well, you know, what can I do? Ask the question, what can I do to make this right? You understand? Don't just say, well, yeah, just bring her back and I'll try to do something else with it.
She didn't even say, what can I do to make it right? She just said,
that's
when
what
you
I'm saying.
have time,
you gotta apologize.
Just bring her back. No.
You gotta apologize.
I was over her.
I had gotten to a point that, you know, one time I was just like, okay, we just gonna fight. Because, you know, most of them, actually, they almost did end up fighting one of the barbers.
Really?
Because I didn't like the way he cut my hair. Well, that too. I told him like, no, I don't like this. So I still paid him. So he took the money and he threw it on the floor.
No.
So he was like, I don't even want your money. So he's like, you could just take it.
Oh, he
so
did
I was
all
like,
that?
yeah. And he was a New Orleans barber too, out here in Houston. He was a New Orleans barber. So I, of course, picked the money up, like, it's my $20. That's on you. Cursed him out. But he had other clients in there. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you think you got it. If you think you a bad barber, I'm telling you, you're not. You need to go back to school because this not gonna work.
Thanks.
So I'm walking out, and he's walking and talking. I'm like, you still in the shop talking. You still in your little booth talking. This is one of these places where they got like 5,000 separate.
Like a little salon.
Yeah, like mini salons inside one place. So he's still talking and yapping. I can hear him in the hallway. The girl come out like, what's wrong? No, don't do that. Don't fight. It's not that serious, y'all. She trying to break it up and all that. So he was still talking. I'm like, okay, bro, whatever. So I just left because I'm like, I can't explain to my family I just beat up this boy over a haircut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got to think about it. Like, I'm going to be arrested. I got to go through all that. I don't know who's going to be able to bail me out. Like, I'm thinking about all of this.
But that's when maturity kicks in because I know for me, I didn't even want to text her. I want to go up there. But you have to think about you have more to lose. But it definitely frustrates you because people think, oh, well, you can afford it. No, it's my money that I work for.
Well, I hate when people say that. Like, you don't know how much money.
You don't know what I have.
Lord Jesus.
Respect my money and my time. I don't play.
So we want to know what y'all think. Go to our social media at Dreux Mia Podcast Show. We want to know what you think about it. If you pay your stylist or barber for services and you're dissatisfied with their service, should you still pay them? Would you still pay them? Are you obligated to pay them? Do you cuss them out and tell them go kick rocks? Do you settle it in court? Like, what would you do? Because it's happening a lot. I see a lot of people posting about their, dissatisfaction and disdain with certain people and products and stylists and all of that. So it's something that we want to talk about.
Especially when it is something that I'm not coming to you for just support. I'm coming to you for a need, because I buy trash all the time, and I want to support people. I buy music that's trash. People Bitmo can't sing at all, but guess what?
Well, that's encouraging them now.
I buy it and then I throw it in the trash. People be buying selling
money.
Cakes and desserts and stuff,
and it be nasty.
And I don't even taste it. Half the time, eating will be my taster, and I throw it in the trash. Or I could just look at a person and know I'm not going to eat from you, but I'll, want to support, and I'll do it. But that I'm coming to you for a service, and and this minister who came to our church, and he made something so plain and clear. He said everybody nowadays have a pop-up shop, and they think that they are a business owner and an entrepreneur. Nobody wants to go get a job, and you can tell the entrepreneur from the person with a hobby. If you are a barber and you cannot do a simple haircut, that's a hobby.
Yeah.
You're not an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurs have a different mindset. Their level of excellence is at a different level, and you always want to do your best on every time. So for her to do that, and after we get done, I'm gonna show you the pictures. That's how upset and pissed I was because I wanted to do something for my daughter, and then you don't know the backstory of why people come to you.
Right.
If somebody comes to you, for catering, Drew, I need you to do this. You don't know why people need that catering or what it's for. But each and every time, you should always put your best foot forward.
Give your best. I mean, that's what separates the amateurs from the
Now, you're
pros.
right about it.
Everybody's not a professional.
She done in my book, baby. Done.
Yeah, I mean, I can go on and on and on about that, because I've had quite a few out here. Houston, it has a low volume of sopranos and balls.
Now, wait, don't do the sopranos.
They don't. You ain't got
baby.
no sopranos in Houston.
None that you know. We got some quality sopranos.
A shortage of sopranos.
It's a shortage?
A shortage of sopranos. I ain't say we ain't got no sopranos. We got a shortage, of sopranos, of quality sopranos that can actually sing soprano and not always be crying, oh, that's too high. Well, you're not a soprano. All right, then. So we moving on with that. So we got COVID-19 news updates. I really want to know how people feel about the Biden administration and how they're handling everything with the vaccine rollout. I really want to know how people feel about that. I mean, how do we feel that Johnson & Johnson had to throw away 15 million doses? Like, how do we feel about that? Are we still skeptical, or do we feel better? How do we feel about that?
Listen, I'm still skeptical. I had an appointment to do the vaccine, and at the last minute, I did not show up. It just makes me
Did you
nervous.
at least call them and say, listen, I'm not coming?
No, I didn't.
Well, somebody else could have used that appointment, Mia.
I just didn't.
Oh, my God.
Because it's my business. So
I want to be the very last one. I'm just going to be honest. I want to be the very last person to get vaccinated.
But I know a lot of people that have had it. People in my family have had it, and I've asked the side effects and what has happened. Like, even my mom had it, and I was a nervous wreck because of her age. I was like, Mom, you never. But my mother is a good old church girl. She like, I'm covered by the blood in the Lord.
I've seen elderly people who haven't had no reaction.
I think it's been younger people, like the 56-year-old doctor, and then recently that 34-year-old girl. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that, but I know I have two of my board members who recently were vaccinated, and they were sick as a dog.
Like sick?
Sick.
Like hospitalized sick?
No, they were at home, but they wasn't hospitalized. They had fevers and nausea and all of those things. They had to stay home.
So the vaccine, is it like them giving you the virus for your body to fight off, or what is it?
So the vaccine, the thing is actually, of course, dead fetuses. Did you know that?
No.
So you should, we encourage people to go online and actually look at what the vaccine consists of. Talk to your doctor so you can get all of that. But it's actually dead fetuses. This is what the argument was for a lot of Christians and whatnot, because of course those who are pro-life, who are against abortion, that's just not going to work. Like we're against abortion, so why would we allow you to inject us with dead fetuses because it's part of a vaccine?
Lord have mercy.
So they denied that it was, but of course other doctors came and said, well, that's actually what vaccines consist of, dead fetuses and all of those things, because they found it to be highly potent and all of those things. I'm like, that's one of the reasons why I'm like, I don't know if I want a dead fetus in me now. And then just seeing everybody that I know, close people, having those type of reactions, like I can't be down for 2 days. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know any of my family or friends that has had it. They haven't been down, but I know they said one said that he was nauseous for like a day
Yeah.
and his arm hurt. But then like the next day, he was cool.
Arm hurting is good. It's okay. I mean, because it hurts from the flu shot, so I'm okay with that.
And then I heard about you getting like one of my friends, she said that she was lightheaded, and after the shot she went home and she said she just got really, really sleepy. And she said she slept for like the longest time.
Fatigue.
And I was like, what is up with that, honey?
So you got people with headaches, fatigue. You have people who have fever, nausea. What was on the other side? I can't remember. But yeah, all of those things have been included in some of the side effects for people. And I'm like, I can't deal with that. I mean, because if you're a parent, a single parent, or you have pets or whatever, like if you're down, you can't be down. You can't be down. Nobody's gonna be able to take care of them. And if you don't have anybody there that can come and help you out, then I mean, that's not gonna work for me. So that's why I say I want to be the very last one. Make sure everybody else is still here.
Yeah.
And I'll be the last one.
I'll be right with you. I'll be number 2.
I'll be the last one. But I mean, the sad side of it is we're right at 555,000 deaths here in the U.S., which is very sad.
555,000.
We surpassed 550,000. 20 states have reported an increase in COVID cases because of holiday gatherings and whatnot, spring break, all of those things. Medical professionals are in fear of a fourth surge approaching because people have just let their guards down altogether. I mean, we've seen that. Nobody's wearing masks anymore. And the confusion comes in because people are feeling that because they've been vaccinated, they don't have to wear the mask. But CDC, Dr. Fauci, all of them have all said that you still should wear a mask. You should still wear a mask because even though you've been vaccinated, you can still carry the virus and spread it to others who haven't been vaccinated. The vaccination only prevents you from being sick from the virus. It actually like fights it. So your system is fighting it. If it decides to say it's going to try to cause some problems, no, I got the vaccine. So that vaccine and the virus, they're fighting each other. And the vaccination is going to win. That's how it's been explained to me. So you can still carry it. You can still catch it, all of those things. It just won't have an effect on you because you've been vaccinated.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why they're saying still wear your mask because you can still spread it to others who haven't been vaccinated, who may not have the full efficacy of the vaccination.
Yeah.
So if you got a person who only received one of the 2 shots or whatever, or they got a Johnson & Johnson, which only has a 60% effective rate, you can still spread it and they can still have some type of effects. They may not have to be hospitalized, but they could still get sick.
Yeah.
And then you don't know what that sickness will lead to if they have underlying conditions and whatnot. So it's still a lot there that, we still have to be mindful of.
Right.
So just remember, you got 555,000 Americans, whatever, who are deceased because of this virus.
Wow.
Who are deceased because of this virus. And I mean, there's reports of the 20 states reporting a surge again and increase in cases. So California is number 1, Texas is number 2, Florida is number 3, New York is number 4, Illinois is number 5. And I would expect it to be that way because you're talking about the states with the largest population.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Of course, California, Los Angeles, Texas, Houston, Dallas, Florida, Miami, and all of the New York City, and the 5 boroughs, Illinois, Chicago. We expect that to be so.
Right.
If they had said North Dakota or Montana, then I would be suspicious. You know what I mean? Because ain't nobody out there. So, bottom line is wear the mask. Still wear your mask. We know it's.
This is your new normal, people.
It's the new normal. I know it's disgusting. I know it's breaking people's skins out and all that. We get it. But it's better to have acne and broken skin than to be dead.
And now that's on every day.
And that's when Mary had a little lamb.
And her baby.
And her little baby. So we want y'all to wear the mask. Be safe. still social distance, all of those things. And we want to shout out to all of the stores who are still supporting and encouraging and making sure people are wearing masks and social
Absolutely.
distancing. They didn't cave under the governor's orders here in Texas. They didn't say, yeah, y'all can do whatever y'all want. They're like, no, if you come here, you still have to wear your mask. You still
Sure
have to
did.
social distance. You still have to sanitize. And we appreciate it. HEB, Kroger, Walgreens, Walmart, everybody. Thank y'all so much for not listening to Governor Greg Abbott if you're in Texas and making sure that people stay safe. Because you got crazy people out there who will just take it and run with it. You know what I mean? And we see the stories of people getting killed, security guards being killed, workers being killed, telling people to wear a mask.
Yep.
Like, that's crazy. Who would have ever thought that? Who would ever thought somebody would be shot because they told somebody to wear a mask in the middle of a health pandemic? It just doesn't make sense to me. So y'all be safe. Wear your mask. Make sure you are, staying up to date on what's going on. Don't let your guards down. Make sure you're keeping you and your family safe. We know everybody's ready to start, getting back together. We want to be back together with family and friends. We get it. But we still have to make sure that this virus is dead and gone. And somebody was talking about how the mutation of it is a good and bad thing. By mutating, it's weakening, they say. So that means it's giving us a better chance of survival because it's weakening faster.
Right.
If the more it mutates, the more it's weakening. So it can take a year, 2 years, 3 years for it to actually just burst to where it's no longer a threat. But they say the more that it mutates, it's good news. However, the more it mutates, the more people can be infected, the more people can die from it. The more people can be hospitalized behind it. So I don't know. I just wish it's over with and we can move on from it. So that's all of that. That's all of that. I don't want to be, Debbie Downer and all of that.
I know.
Oh, Lord. So say what? I'll say what segment is sponsored by Jaito Entertainment Group. For more information, best in entertainment, go to JaitoEntertainmentGroup.com. So I want to talk about the Derek Chauvin trial. Have you been watching it?
I watched a little bit. I can't take it. I get mad and upset.
A lot of people.
So
a lot of people can't take it. I've watched it. Court TV. I have Court TV. You have that station?
No.
So Court TV, they feature it later in the day once, it's wrapped up. They kind of just go over it and they depict it. They talk about it. They have special, people on to kind of, educate and inform people. So I watch it usually as I'm watching Court TV late at night just because they kind of just talk through it and help people to understand what the prosecution is doing, what the defense is doing, all of those things. But it is hard to watch.
Definitely.
And watching the girlfriend, watching the police chief, and then, of course, watching the guy who was...
The witness?
The older gentleman who was there, who witnessed everything, who was trying to talk to him to keep him calm, keep George Floyd calm. That was hard. That was really hard.
Yeah.
And I just, when I see that, I'm just thinking of me, my uncles, my brothers, I'm thinking that to us. You know what I mean? And then my family members having to endure that. But I'm just curious to know how people feel about the use that was used on George Floyd from former officer Derek Chauvin. Like, do we think that it was necessary to try to contain the situation that way? Do we think he went overboard? Of course, many do. Some say that he was justified in using that type of force because George was on drugs and he was resisting and he outpowered the officer. He was bigger than the officer, so the officer had to do what he needed to do to make sure he kept himself safe and the scene safe. You got people on both sides of it. I mean, of course, we weren't there, but from what I saw, the videos that I saw, I think it was way over.
It was way overboard. He could have handcuffed him and been done with it. What can he do handcuffed? How can you kill an unarmed man who is now not a threat to you? You have other officers. It wasn't like he was just there by himself. It was other people there with him. So if you handcuff him, that man knew what he was doing. He meant to do what he did. And we as America, if we have people that justify it, this is the way that it is going to always be.
It's always been this way.
Of course. And
a white officer's always been deemed justified in shooting, killing, lynching, burning, whatever. a black man,
Yeah.
because they just don't see us as human beings, number one, and then number two, they quote unquote fear for their lives when they're around us. So
That's always the excuse.
I was looking at the footage, and I'm so glad that we actually can see more now. You can actually see all of the cameras from the city cameras, even from the 911 dispatcher who actually called the police on the police. It was hard to watch. It was hard to see that the four officers stood there. Well, three of them stood there. One had his knee, Derek Chauvin had his knee on George's neck. At the point where he's not moving anymore, at some point, something should have said, okay, let me get up.
Absolutely.
But the fact that you just stayed there after he's lifeless, not moving, no sign of life anywhere, the fact that you stayed there after that,
it's heartbreaking.
I'm not understanding. Like, what? I want to know what was going through his mind that he felt he needed to stay on his neck after George wasn't moving anymore. Like, what was going through your mind? It's like when you're fighting somebody and you know you have the upper hand and you're beating them. At some point, you're like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
You don't have to keep beating them. That's it.
Because you done already won.
You already won.
Yeah, you conquered what you wanted to do. And if he is trying to use an excuse of George is bigger, he wasn't cooperating. Well, when he did calm down, you still had your neck on him. So you can't even make that, like, make it make sense.
I'm trying to make it make sense. And that the title of this podcast is Make It Make Sense. Like, I'm trying to make it make sense. I'm hoping at some point the prosecution actually gets a chance to question Derek Chauvin and just find out what happened. Mm-hmm. Like, I think the family deserves to know what were you thinking? What was on your mind that you felt you had to do this to George?
Nothing. It was a black man, so evidently nothing was on. He didn't even care. But do you actually think that his attorneys will let him testify?
I doubt they will.
I don't think they will, because
they're already losing, so they're going to tread very lightly now because they're already losing. I mean, with all of the evidence that they have against them, they're going to tread very lightly.
I believe this. Once he does go to jail, because I do believe he's going to be found guilty. Because if he's not found guilty, that city is going to be.
It's going to be a repeat.
It's going to be a repeat.
It's going to be a repeat.
And when he goes to jail, they're going to kill him in jail. Like, and I don't think it's anyone in the world that has not heard about the George Floyd story. Yeah. The only thing I can say is, even though it was very unfortunate, you know, I look at George Floyd like the sacrificial lamb. Mm-hmm. You know, like, he had to die to even start some of the change that we have seen. And even though it's unfortunate that happened, that has shed so much light on things that other people, because it's like now you see people who didn't believe in racism, they now waking up like, oh my God, racism is really alive.
He definitely was the stuff to hit the fan.
Yeah.
His death was the stuff that hit the fan, and y'all know what I'm saying. Can't say it on here, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And I think that's I agree. It changed everything. It like, okay, that's it. We've had enough. I mean, because we had so many leading up to.
Yeah.
Like, he was the stuff that hit the fan. Yeah. And now, okay, we've had enough. And it's just like, when you make anybody mad and you bring them to their boiling point, that's it. You can't be mad at their response.
Right.
And the response was, we're getting out, we're protesting in the middle of a pandemic. Mm-hmm. We're demanding reform. We're demanding change. We're demanding police reformation. We're telling you all that this is it. Mm-hmm. Either you're gonna make the change or we're gonna make it for you.
Exactly.
And that's really where we are with everything. And I mean, I hate that it took that, because like everyone was saying, he was trying to get his life back in order. He was trying to get back on the right track. And like many of us, many of us, myself, me, everybody, we all have things about us in our past, whatever.
Yep.
We could all end up being a George Floyd.
Absolutely.
We can all end up being in jail. We can all end up all of us, none of us, I should say, are exempt from that.
That's
you know what
true.
I mean? None of us. Every day you get a chance to fight another day, you better be praising and thanking God that you didn't come into contact with a racist KKK officer or whatever, KKK or a Trumpster, whatever, that ended your life.
Yep.
Because
it's just sad.
You'll be another hashtag.
Yep.
And like we were talking about the issue here in Houston, unfortunately, with the officer who really excessive force on the young Hispanic guy. Did you see the news on that?
When did that happen?
This was maybe a week or so ago.
I didn't see see that.
So the story is two teenage boys were riding their ATVs, and they're not street legal; they're just
Right.
for whatever. So they were riding their ATVs in the street. Well, they ended up stopping at a gas station to get gas, and there was a Harris County deputy sheriff officer who saw them riding. And then he saw them when they pulled into the gas station. So as he's coming out of the gas station, he confronts the young man.
Okay.
Instead of confronting him and talking to him like a civil servant,
Yeah.
a professional civil servant, he just lashed out at the guy, started harassing him. Of course, the guy is fearful. He's a Hispanic. You come into contact with a white officer, so he's already thinking like, okay, what's going on?
Afraid.
Right, he's
Yeah.
already afraid. So of course that led to one thing, and then the next thing you know, the officer started cursing him out. He's gonna beat his ass and don't do this, don't do that. Just talking to him, just crazy. So it was all captured on camera because they had cameras on their helmets, which is a smart thing, right? Because there would be no other evidence. They had the footage from the camera helmets or whatever it's called that captured everything. So. And I'm very appreciative, and I have a good relationship with Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, the sheriff of Harris County. He took immediate action. Of course, the officer was, put on administrative leave. Unfortunately, was paid administrative leave.
He should have been terminated.
But that's a policy, that the state has to deal with. That's out of their hand. It has to be certain offenses for them to be on unpaid administrative leave. But they disciplined him. He was on administrative leave, whatever. They're investigating it and all of that. But with all of the footage, everything, we certainly hope that this officer's fired, because we don't need that
We do not
we don't need
need
that
that.
here. Houston is too diverse. Houston is too big for us to be having some KKK Trump's we're just too big. In the police force, come on now. We have enough of that going on.
And if you want to beat somebody's ass, go be a wrestler. Don't be a police officer. Don't be a civil servant. Don't be a firefighter. Don't be in working a capacity where you are to serve. I don't understand that.
I think he's just using the badge. He was just using that badge. Because, he wasn't no big guy. He wasn't intimidating. He was an older white officer. So, if he had come into contact with the right one,
Yeah.
he would have had the right one on the right
he
day at the
would've-
right time.
yeah.
And then that would have been it.
and got the right thing.
You see what I'm saying? So he knew what he was doing. He
Yeah.
knew to talk to this little 19-year-old Hispanic guy, because he don't do nothing. But if he talked to a 29, 39-year-old, whatever, it would have been a different situation.
Totally different.
So he knew what he was doing. I think they hide behind the badge. The society, the world has given them permission to hide behind these badges.
Yeah.
And make them feel like they're invincible. But just come on the right day.
Okay.
Come on the right day.
And with the right person.
With the right one.
And you're going to get what you're looking for.
So yeah, I'm it's hard to watch, but I want to watch because I want to see what goes on through
Right.
this trial.
Of course.
You know what I
Of
mean?
course.
So I dib and dab. I'll just walk away from the TV for a little while and go do something, play with the dog or whatever, get back to work, whatever. But I want to watch because I want to see what they're doing. I want to see how his defense team or whatever is trying to rectify and all of that. How are they
Yeah.
rationing everything with this situation? And some of the rebuttal has just been, are they serious?
They trying to piece it together.
They go back to the same thing over and over. Well, he had drugs in his system. God damn it, we know he had drugs in his system. No, everybody know, you ain't got to say it no more. We know he had drugs in his system. We get it. But every time that's their rebuttal. Well, he had drugs in his system. Okay, now what? Now what you want us to do?
Nah,
He
okay,
had
we
drugs
know.
in his
What's
system. We
next?
know. What's the problem?
Crazy.
But that's what I'm saying. This is what it is, and the fact that this attorney, his defense attorney, is actually trying to defend him. I just think that they don't have no coup. They don't have no class.
Of course. Because
Like, how
I
you-
wouldn't even defend a man like that.
After watching the video, I'm
I
like,
would
I
be
was
like,
like, I don't think I could. I don't
nah,
think I
I
could.
can't
I
defend
can't do
you.
you. I can't.
No.
I want to know who's paying for it though.
Somebody that think like he think. That
Yeah,
was
I mean,
okay
he got to
with
be paying.
George Floyd dying. Somebody that was okay with it and felt like he was justified.
I know they raised some monies to pay for his defense team. I don't know how much, but I know that they had raised something, 40-something thousand, I think, towards his defense. I mean, it could be more now because this was when everything first happened, back in May, when it all happened. What, June? When it first happened, I think it was June, when it first happened. So I'm watching it. We want to know how you guys feel about it. Have you been watching it? Damon said abuse of power. It absolutely is abuse of power. But you know what? Minneapolis, Minnesota, I love Minneapolis.
Baby, they going
Oh, I
hard.
love Minneapolis. Minneapolis, I love you. Have you been?
Oh yeah.
I love Minneapolis. Oh my God. But they will let you know it ain't about to go down like this. St. Paul, Twin Cities, y'all stand up, y'all representing. If I can get out there to, attend a rally and a protest, I'm coming. I'm supporting the city. I'm supporting what we are fighting for as a whole.
Absolutely.
Because this has to end. It has to end. Our kids shouldn't have to live
They
through this
should
anymore.
not.
We've had enough of this. Is 500 years of this foolishness. Like, when is it going to end?
When is it gonna end?
So if it doesn't end with our generation and in our time, that's it. Because this next generation won't be able to handle it.
no,
They
and
won't
it's
be able
gonna
to
go a
handle it.
different way with
A
them.
completely different way. They're going to just be executed
Oh,
completely.
yeah.
We won't have anybody on this
and
earth
it's
anymore.
gonna be executed on both sides.
On both sides.
Because these little things, they gonna fire you back.
They don't care.
They don't care.
So
Yeah.
they better be glad we got some of the older generation still here. Even though
Yes.
we ain't our ancestors, you still should be glad that you got somebody here to kind of reason with everything. So,
Absolutely.
oh Lord have mercy. Thank you. Y'all better thank God for life every day. You
It's
just never know.
amazing.
You just never know. I don't know. I don't know. I tense up when I see police. Even though I have good relationships with
Of
them, I tense
course.
up when I see them. I
Of
have
course.
family of police, but I still tense up when I see them.
Me too.
And I can see when they're trying to run your tags and see. And I'm like, my insurance paid up, my car is paid up.
You already know, but
yeah.
it's just a natural reaction because of everything that has happened. And not only for me is it a tense up, I get this warm feeling in my body. Like I
Yeah.
just instantly get upset.
Immediately.
Because I always think about everything that they have done because I have seen more bad police than good police.
Right. And that's sad.
It's
that's
very
truly
sad.
That's truly sad. But I mean, how do you wean it out? How do you wean out those bad officers? Like, how do you do it? And it's hard because I hate the fact that everything kind of falls on the chief or whoever's in charge because they weren't there when these people were hired. You know what I mean? If they've been on the force for 20 years and this chief has only been here for 3 years, they weren't there when they hired this man. So his mistakes shouldn't necessarily fall on the chief or the superintendent, whomever. He has a immediate supervisor he has to answer to. So that
That's
person
true.
dropped the ball.
That's true, but I'm going to show you a different way. That's just like if you work at a company and you come in to be the CEO, but you have all these people that have been working there for 15 or 20 years. Now you're new to your CEO position. Well, when you come in, you set the standard. And when you set the standard, old employees know, okay, well, Bill used to run it like this, but now we got Seth in here, and Seth ain't playing no games.
Why you giving
and
us all these white names? Why we can't have no black CEOs?
I know black people named Seth.
I don't know nobody black named Seth.
I know three guys named Seth. Okay, so Christopher or
That's still white.
Christopher is not a white name. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's still a little too white. That's white-ish.
I know more white Drews than I know black Drews.
That's spelled like my name?
Well, that's how you spell it on your birth certificate?
That's the French spelling of it.
Oh, I thought you just made that up.
Oh my God. She thought
Okay,
my
what's
mama
up?
made it.
What's a black name?
Dante,
Tyrone.
yeah, Tyrone.
Tyrone. Okay, so Tyrone coming in, and Tyrone
black
is letting
CEOs.
everybody know, okay, this is the way this ship gonna be ran.
But what
And
if you
we
got 20,000 employees though? How
well,
you
guess
gonna?
what? You get your team together where they know that you're not playing. I think that it does fall on the head. Anytime you have an organization, anytime you have a church, anytime you have a school, it looks how you run your school is based on how the principal what presence are you setting for your staff and for the students. And I do blame the chief because
But you could go ahead. I'm sorry.
because I feel like if you're not setting a standard and if you're not letting these people know this is what will be this is not tolerated. They need to have zero tolerance of this stuff. But it's like you got the good old boys and then you have a group of people to where they turn their head. They don't acknowledge. You even have our black men. I know some black officers that have seen this and they turn their head.
Oh, yeah.
But if it starts with the head, and I think about that I think about that with marriage. It starts with the head. The man is the head. You look at some marriages when a man is messed up, a woman don't want to follow nobody that you don't even know where you going. You can't lead me. A principal it starts with the head, the assistant principal.
But what
Everybody falls in line.
But even if they have their structure in place, I get what you're saying. Even if the CEO comes in with his or her way of operating, it still has to somehow be executed and
Of course.
performed.
Well, who do you think executes it?
So that's what I'm saying. You can't the CEO cannot spotlight and micromanage 20,000 employees. So if they say this is how we're gonna do it, the under people gotta figure it out, give it to the team. This is what happens, this is how we're running things now. The CEO can't go behind them to see if all 20,000 or whatever it is of those employees are actually following the new protocol.
But when you have something as drastic as the things that have happened in this racial climate, then you go and now you say, you know what? I have to take time away so that I can get this under control. You have to take time to do it. And I think that just because they're the chief of police, oh, they can't police this, they can't control this. Yes, you can. You need to take some time away. You need to get with your staff. Okay, well, this is what's going to happen. This person, and let them know it's no nonsense. Sometimes you have to make an example out of people. And I just feel like there are some in every group. You know
Always.
who is not doing what they supposed to do. You know who's the ringleader. And I think that, they have this blue code. And that's why I blame the head.
Yeah, I think it's hard to expect one person, a police chief or superintendent, and I'm talking about the ones that actually care. I'm not talking about lazy superintendents or whatever. I'm talking about the ones who are actually trying to make a difference, make a change, who are actually trying to develop a reputable force, a team. I'm talking about those. I think it's unfair to put everything on them because, like I said, for one, they may not even have been there when that officer who was involved in whatever was even hired. So they, of course, can't know all 5,000, 10,000, however many it is. They can't know each of them personally and individually. So they have to rely on their
Of course.
to make sure that they're doing their job so that when it gets down to Officer so-and-so, Officer so-and-so knows that the police chief is expecting us to operate like this. But if it gets miscommunicated somewhere down the line, then we can't really expect that chief or that person in charge to be blamed because that officer at the bottom didn't get the memo from his or her supervisor.
But that's what I'm saying. We go back to what you just said. You said that the chief has to talk to then the person that's under them.
Yeah.
And then the person that's under them talk to the person that's under them.
Uh-huh.
However, how many times is it going to take for the chief to not recognize, okay, something is being miscommunicated. So if this person is not saying what I need them to say, it all falls back to me on the head. How many times does it have to happen to where you're blaming the person and not the chief? 30 times, 15 times, to where you keep saying, oh, I blame the person that hired them. No, when you hire a CEO, their responsibility is greater because they can take on that. And that's why I said it has to be a precedence known. This man is no nonsense. And if people know that he is not playing this type of game, they either gonna shape up or shape out.
I get it. I watch Blue Bloods a lot, so I get what you're saying. So there are some things there, depending on the state, the police force, whatever. I keep saying force, but there's that's not what they call them anymore. Police, whatever, department. We say department. There are things there that prevents the chief from being able to actually be that disciplinarian because you have internal affairs.
Of course.
That kind of serves as the mediator between the officer and then the discipline action. So there's some things there that prevents the chief. There's some departments where the police chief can't even fire the officer because the officer is protected under the union, under the police union. So there's some departments where the police can't even fire. If an officer is involved in a shooting or unjustified shooting, him or her can't even be fired by some police chiefs because they're protected.
That's true.
So the chief has obstacles that him or her has to overcome in order to be able to enforce new procedures, new protocol. You have state issues that intervene and comes in the way of that as well because they have to abide by what the state says, the state rules, the state laws. They have to abide by that. So if his or her protocol is one thing, the state says no, you can't do it that way. Then you have that breakdown there. So then you still got Officer so-and-so just doing whatever because the chief wants it done this way, but the state says, no, we got to do it this way. This is what the law is. And the officers like, okay, well, I'll just do whatever because I don't really have anyone telling me what to do, how to do it. I can really do whatever. And that's what's happening. These officers are not being held accountable because there are no real laws in play for unjustifiable shootings. Like they're protected under so much law. They're protected under so much of the union. They're just protected. They're just straight out protected. That's why they're doing all of the shooting and killing. What I'm saying is you can't expect that chief to be held liable because the chief has so much that they have to deal with to try to get that officer to abide by the new rules. That's what I'm saying. That the officer has the option to listen to what's going on. The officer should have common sense, number one. Should know right from wrong. Should know that, listen, this man is unarmed. There's no need to shoot him. There's no need to shoot an unarmed person. But if you're still doing it, then you're protected.
That's why I'm saying I can agree to that for a couple instances. But when you have a whole police department where this is happening over and over and over again, yeah, you may not be able to fire him or her, but you are able to go to IAD and open up an investigation, or you are able to advise them, listen, this is what is going on, and I want an investigation, and they are able to investigate it. I just believe that some of these people that are in higher office, some of them don't care, and some of them feel like it is too much, that they don't feel like they can make a change.
Definitely.
So that's why I'm saying, for me, yes, of course, is the chief responsible for a guy going out there shooting an unarmed black man? He's not responsible for that instance. But when it continues to happen over and over and over again, now I'm looking at the head.
If it continues to happen with the same officer, then yeah, that might be a problem. Okay, why hasn't this officer been disciplined? Why is this officer still employed? Like, yeah, that's it. But if you're talking about different instances where you have different officers doing the same thing, then I mean, it's a lot of people to blame. Of course, the chief who's in charge is to blame, but there's a lot there that needs to be addressed. And I'm talking about all the way down, all the way to the top, all the way to the governor of the state. Because like I said, these laws are protecting them. The unions are protecting them. That's why it's happening over and over and over. And then for the unincorporated towns and cities and whatnot that don't necessarily have any rules and laws, that's why it's still happening. It may not be happening to black and brown people. It might just be happening to one of our white brothers and sisters who are considered low class, low income, whatever. Right. You know what I mean? Depending on the area. So that's what I'm saying. I just don't think it's fair that if you have a chief or a police superintendent who's trying to make a difference, who's trying to change the cities, who's trying to build a quality police department, and they have all of these obstacles in front of them, I just think it's unfair to put the blame directly on them because they have to overcome so much themselves with the laws of the state, the city, whatever. They have so much that they have to overcome. And even with the department as a whole, there's a lot there, a lot of red tape there that they have to try to go through and work through to get the change, to enforce their new procedures and to enforce all of that. And that's one of the things that people have been fighting for as well. These police associations are like the devil. They go against everything good. Like their focus is to make sure that police officers just can do whatever, I guess.
It's just sad to me.
I mean, it's beyond sad. But I'm just saying, I don't think it's fair. If I was a police chief and everybody blaming me because Mia not doing her job, it's not my fault. I told Mia what to do. She's decided not to do it. Then, I mean, I can't fire her because she's protected under the association and under the union. She's going to try to sue the department. They don't want a lawsuit. The city ain't got no money. Like, how am I supposed to do my job and I got to do all of that? It just don't make sense to me.
Much is given, much is required.
Well,
that's your job.
We know that. Well, that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Hello to everybody on our Facebook page. Thank you guys for chiming in. I see your comments. Thank you so much. We have more of this discussion on our social media. Make sure you visit us online, www.DreuxandMiaPodcastShow.com. Check us out on social media at Dreux Mia Podcast Show. Go to our YouTube channel and watch all of our podcast shows. You can download them on all platforms. Congratulations to my co-host. We have been added to Pandora.
Yes.
So we are getting podcast show out there. Next up, Apple. But it's a battle. So we're going to keep working it. But make sure you guys stay tuned. We have so much coming up in store. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.